Coming up on the Northwestern News Report, unions at NU, graduate students are fighting for collective action.
A new Safe Ride system drives onto campus, what it means for riders and student workers.
And this year, getting locked out could mean paying up. We're looking into the new price for temp cards and how students are reacting.
Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Joey Safchik.
And I'm Justin Sweetwood.
We start tonight with one Northwestern population urging the university to recognize them as more than just students. In 2016, graduate students gained the right to unionize in a landmark case under an Obama-appointed National Labor Relations Board. Now, the NLRB is threatening to walk back on that rule, so some grad students are rallying for their rights.
It's a particularly precarious time to be a PhD student.
For Miruna Barnowski, time to work on her PhD is a luxury because
being a grad student is a lot less like being a student than like being a researcher and a teacher.
She's in her 5th year of the political science grad program. She spent several quarters working as a teacher's assistant, holding office hours and grading exams.
Graduate students are definitely a very vital part of the university structure.
But there's debate as to whether grad students should be considered employees at the university. NU Graduate Workers, or NUGW, advocates for grad students, but a rule proposed by the National Labor Relations Board could strip graduate students of their unionization rights.
We got the power!
NUGW isn't officially recognized by Northwestern. The university says they see grad students as just that, students.
Yes, we are graduate students, but to be honest, we're also graduate workers.
We're now in the midst of a 60-day consultation window regarding the new rule. If it's enacted, groups like NUGW wouldn't be recognized by the NLRB, but could still be acknowledged by the university.
If the NLRB rule goes through, it would be devastating in the sense that we lose our status as workers.
The university declined several attempts for an on-camera interview, but provided NNN a statement saying, quote, Northwestern believes that unionization and collective bargaining are not the appropriate methods to address graduate student concerns.
I want to be focused on my research. I want to be focused on my teaching. I don't want to be writing petitions. I don't want to be attending rallies, but ultimately that's what we have to do.
This proposed rule only applies to private institutions, so what's keeping these grad students from jumping over to UC Berkeley or U of I?
To be frank, I'm proud to be at Northwestern. It's just that I also am a worker. Those two things can be true at the same time.
NUGW looks to bargain for things like improved mental health care, raises to pay their rent, and international grad student rights.
The living stipend, the stipend that we get, is raised every year. True, but my rent is raised more.
There's something about being told that your work doesn't deserve protection. It doesn't deserve to be called work. That makes it hard to keep going sometimes.
Standing up for their union rights and hoping that the university will stand with them. 5 private institutions in the U.S. have recognized grad student unions on their campuses, some with the caveat that they would only discuss employment and not academic matters.
And speaking of educational unions, the clock is ticking for Mayor Lori Lightfoot to come up with a new deal between the Chicago Teachers Union and Chicago Public Schools before Thursday. The CTU has promised to strike if their demands are not met. The union has many requests, including smaller class sizes and more nurses and counselors.
When one Northwestern alumna painted the rock her freshman year during Rainbow Week, she found something better than a pot of gold. Every year during Rainbow Week, student group Rainbow Alliance paints the rock to show support for queer students on campus. When Medill alum Camille Barajek painted the rock her freshman year, she took a picture with classmate Caitlin Jacola to remember the night. The two later connected during their senior year and began dating 2 weeks before graduation. A few years later, they were married.
Northwestern was the first place where I didn't feel like I had to come out. I could just be out, because every student who walks onto campus deserves to feel like they belong there and like they can be safe and supported and loved, and like they don't have to hide a part of themselves in order for that to happen.
And now for the reporter who found the story, NNN's Alex Chun joins us in studio. Now, Alex, what does Camille's story mean for other queer freshmen on campus?
I just think her story is so important, especially because we have so many freshmen coming from different areas. So I just think it's so important that they know that they can be authentic here and meet and marry other queer students on campus.
Alex Chun, thank you so much. Now, Northwestern is celebrating 150 years of educating women Wildcats. The university began admitting women as undergraduate students in the fall of 1893. Northwestern will be celebrating this milestone throughout the year with events and social media campaigns. They'll be highlighting women changemakers and innovators who once called NU home. An exhibit at Deering Library is already open.
Former Medill professor Alec Klein is set to release a new book following his resignation. This comes in response to allegations by 10 former students and employees in February of 2018 who accused Klein of, quote, controlling, discriminatory, emotionally and verbally abusive behavior.
Later that month, 19 more women came forward with similar allegations. In the book called Aftermath, When It Felt Like Life Was Over, But It Wasn't, Klein discusses his life after the allegations.
Safe Ride was altered this year following complaints about long wait times and a shortage of student drivers. NNN's Olivia Olander has updates on the road to change.
Sophomore Kate Schlager uses Safe Ride about once a week, and she says this year it's simpler.
Last year, I always had trouble calling a Safe Ride myself. I never figured out how to get the app to work on my phone. But with Via, it was super simple. I just downloaded it, and then it was really easy to navigate.
Safe Ride is now through a ride-sharing app called Via. The app is similar to Uber, except for Northwestern students can call it during Safe Ride hours free of charge.
The most important aspect of any decision that we made was really the student safety.
Jim Roberts coordinated the Safe Ride transition to Via. He said Safe Ride has seen an 81% increase in scheduled rides from this time last year. They've also seen a decrease in cancellations with Via and slightly shorter wait times. For Kate, Safe Ride remains consistent in her campus schedule, but for her, it doesn't always replace other rideshare apps.
I feel like using a different type of rideshare like Uber, the waits are normally less long, but if it wasn't a situation where I felt like I had to leave immediately, then yes. But also if I was in an unsafe situation off campus, then it doesn't really do much.
There was also some concern over the summer for the former Safe Ride student drivers whose jobs are now replaced by Via. However, this week Roberts said he helped 16 of the 20 student drivers find new jobs on campus, including 3 who are now dispatchers for Via. Olivia Olander, Northwestern News Network.
Safe Ride is a free service, but users can now call regular Via rides from the same app. These rides often have shorter wait times, but unlike Safe Ride, students may share a ride with someone who isn't another student.
And we've all been there. You leave your room in a hurry and forget your wild card or room key. But new consequences to getting locked out are opening conversations about inclusivity and safety in NU dorms. Here's NNN's Megan Leibowitz.
If you leave your room without this, you might have to give up this. The university is enforcing a rule that says if you are locked out of your room more than once, you'll have to pay a $10 fine.
God, I was locked out 5 times.
Luckily, freshman Tina Huang hasn't had to pay yet. Most of her lockouts happened during Wildcat Welcome, and lockouts didn't start counting until the first day of fall classes.
You say, oh, I got locked out, and then the guy looks at you with, sorry, and goes, again.
Although NNN's multiple requests to residential services for an in-person interview went unanswered, a representative provided a statement saying in part, quote, "We are finding that students were giving the temporary card to their friends so that they could have convenient access to the building. They said the charge is supposed to incentivize students to only use temporary cards when needed to ensure the safety of the community."
I mean, it definitely incentivizes you to try to be more focused in terms of leaving and exiting your room.
But some students say this policy shuts doors on students who might find it difficult to pay.
Being, a first-generation low-income student, the cost of $10 might seem like it's not a lot, but it could add up for me. Maybe reduce the cost or eliminate it completely for first-generation low-income students.
Residential Services says they can be. A representative said if a student communicates difficulty paying and Student Enrichment Services confirms they are, quote, high need, the charge will be waived.
$10 is a significant amount of money for a lot of kids at Northwestern.
Some students are adjusting with practice.
Once they gave us the card holders, it was a lot easier to keep track of it.
And attention.
I have to constantly remind myself, like, wait, did I leave it?
Staying tuned in to avoid getting locked out. Megan Leibowitz, Northwestern News Network.
You get one free lockout per quarter, and if you're charged for that lockout, the charge will be applied to your student account, and you can view it on Caesar.
Coming up, a record high number of transfer students are spending their first quarter on campus.
And I'll have football and more with a look at Wildcat sports.
In the past few days, students officially brought out our heavy jackets and umbrellas. What's next? I'm Kayla Nichols, and I'll have this week's forecast after the break.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Northwestern is one of 19 universities joining a Supreme Court brief supporting the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA. DACA temporarily protects undocumented students from being deported, allowing them to continue to study and work in the U.S. In 2017, the Trump administration decided to end DACA, which is now being challenged in courts. The Supreme Court is holding arguments on November 12th.
This year, Northwestern accepted the highest number of transfer students in the school's history. NNN's Rupapala, a transfer student herself, is in studio to talk about the record number of new Wildcats.
That's right. This year, 213 transfers left other colleges and universities to become Cats this fall. I went to learn how changing schools has changed their tune.
Transfer students are on the rise.
It's a good sign to know that, if you're at the wrong college, it's okay and it's totally fine to go somewhere else.
Of the 365 students accepted into the class of 2023, about 60% officially enrolled.
It shows that there's a really accepting community at that other college.
For the Transfer Student Organization's treasurer and ASG senator, more transfers means more diversity.
I mean, transfer students have a higher percentage of first-generation low-income students, students from community colleges, and all sorts of really interesting experiences and backgrounds that really add a lot to this campus.
And the number of transfers is ticking up. In 2014, the university admitted 87 transfers, less than a fourth of the number accepted this year.
I think it's fantastic that Northwestern's accepted its record number of transfer students this year, and it seems to be growing every single year.
For Akram, this means more students at NU who love the campus.
Transfer students bring a lot of different qualities to Northwestern. Probably the biggest one would be like this perseverance and kind of self-discipline that we had from like the entire process of transferring out last year.
And of course, no shortage of Wildcat spirit.
I've seen they have the most school spirit out of anyone here because they chose to be at this school after seeing what it's like in a different place.
Both of them are excited to be on campus, and they're loving what Northwestern has to offer and can't wait to see where it takes them.
Thanks, Rupa, and we wanted to know what freshmen and transfers thought about their first few weeks as Wildcats.
So we asked you in this week's edition of Rock Talk.
Coming to you from The Rock, I'm Alex Moore, asking first years and transfers what has surprised them most about Northwestern so far. Let's see what they have to say. Rock Talk. What has surprised you most about Northwestern so far?
Wait, that's actually really tough.
Oh shoot.
There's like stuff to do every single night, which is pretty great.
I am surprised by how little I know the campus. Like, I live in Allison, I'm in Medill, and I go to North Campus and I'm lost.
So we should blame your PAs.
Yes, Evan, this is your fault. I'm coming for you.
I'm gonna say the bathrooms.
Can you explain more how the bathrooms surprise you?
Like, okay, how people are so open in the bathrooms that they can just walk around naked.
What has surprised you most about Northwestern so far?
The amount of skunks on campus.
Probably the unpredictable weather.
So far, just how quiet South Campus is.
How I don't have time for anything.
Anything.
Not to sound cheesy, but like how genuinely nice a lot of people are.
Everyone here's been very nice. They're really nice people here.
How nice the people are. How nice people actually are.
I feel like everyone really cares about everyone else.
I was surprised by how mean everyone was. No, I'm kidding.
Rock Talk.
If you have an idea for a future Rock Talk topic, tweet us at @NNN_news. This Sunday, a few Northwestern students were among the 45,000 plus athletes braving the cold to run in the Chicago Marathon. Weinberg sophomores Cheyenne Alumi and Sophia Scanlon both competed over 26 grueling miles, but Scanlon says in the end, it was worth it.
I mean, physically, I am completely exhausted. I can barely walk. I've been hobbling everywhere today. But like mentally, it's weird. Like it's very rewarding experience. It's very surreal. I can't believe I did it still.
This year's marathon will be on October 11th, and interested runners should submit their applications by December 3rd.
And here to let us know if that chilly marathon weather from last weekend is going to continue is Kayla Nichols with your 5-day weather forecast.
Temperatures have been falling since the first week of classes, and as we get into the week, not a lot will change. This week, a low-pressure system moving from the plains will bring us some light rainfall and scattered storms in the Great Lakes area. We'll see this on Saturday and Sunday over the weekend. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain. Thursday will be partly sunny, giving us a break from the rain and clouds. Wednesday will have a low of 41 and a high of 51. And on Thursday, we're expecting a low of 42 and a high of 54. On Friday, we'll see a low of 50 and a high of 61. So for those of you looking forward to cheering on the Wildcats as they face off against Ohio State, enjoy the sunshine and warmer temperatures. Saturday, we'll have a low of 52 and a high of 63. And Sunday, we'll have a low of 54 and a high of 65. There is a chance of rain this weekend, so be sure to carry your umbrellas just in case. I'm Kayla Nichols, and this was your 5-day weather forecast. Back to you.
After the break, I'll tell you what to expect for this Friday's game against Ohio State and bring you an update on the Wildcat field hockey team.
Coming up, a stylish way to donate to charity. Two NU students take us on their company's journey.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. finally will be time. We will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Well, school started 3 weeks ago, but fall sports have been in full swing for a while. To catch us up, here's NNN's Jack Leto.
Joey, it's been a roller coaster ride of a fall for Wildcat sports. On the football field, Pat Fitzgerald's team has been descending and fast. It's been, in a word, frustrating for Wildcat fans. Northwestern's defense, it's actually one of the best in the country. They've only given up 19.8 points per game, and the unit is ranked 5th in the nation in the advanced efficiency measure, SP+. Despite this, the offense has dragged this team down to 1-4. The Cats are scoring a measly 14.4 points per game. That is 128th in the country out of 130 FBS teams. After a bye week, Northwestern will welcome The Ohio State University to Ryan Field. The Buckeyes are a 27-point favorite on Friday night. Northwestern has not been this big of an underdog since 1995 when they played Notre Dame in South Bend. But for what it's worth, the Cats won that game in one of the most memorable moments in Northwestern history. Now let's move on to field hockey. On Sunday, the Cats took down Rutgers and broke a 3-game losing streak to move to 11-5. They already have won more games than they did in the entirety of 2018, and head coach Tracy Fuchs is in prime position to get back to the NCAA tournament for just the 3rd time in her Northwestern tenure. The Cats boast the 15th best scoring offense in the country and the best goal scorer in the Big Ten redshirt first year, Benta Bakers, who has scored 19 goals in 16 games. She will play number 17 on Sunday at 11 a.m. against Kent State at Lakeside Field. Joey and Justin, that's all I have for you today, but NNN Sports is back again this Thursday for more coverage, lots to talk about, volleyball, soccer, swim and dive, and much, much more. But for now, back to you two on the desk.
Thanks, Jack. So certainly not the football season that Northwestern was hoping for.
Even I know this is a bad
Even you know
look.
that. TJ Green getting hurt in the first game. Hunter Johnson not really performing up to expectation. But we got a big game on Friday. Ohio State coming to town. You going to be there, Joey?
I'm not going to be there. It's not on purpose. I love cheering on the Cats, but I have tickets.
You were at the Stanford game.
I
you
drove,
travel all the way up.
I drove almost 8 hours.
You drove all the way up to Palo Alto.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm
you
from
can't
LA.
come to the game in Evanston.
Well, first of all, it's a little colder here than it was there. And second of all, I have tickets to a play in Chicago because I like taking advantage of the city.
Yeah, but you take advantage of a big game, Ohio State.
I know. I'll be at the next one. You can personally make that. Yep.
All right, well, coming up, fashionable philanthropy, how one student company is crafting earrings for a cause.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
This quarter, we're ending our shows with a segment called Newsmakers. Each week, we're highlighting Northwestern students doing outstanding things on and off campus.
We're starting with Best Friends, who created an earring company last spring. They generated thousands of dollars in sales over the summer, making accessories accessible. And Anand Cyrus Singh tells us more.
When Claire Coster and Kate Durawan ended spring quarter last year, their earring company had only sold earrings to 5 customers. Now, they have more than 1,100 followers on Instagram, over $10,000 in sales, and thousands donated to charity.
I think diamonds would look cool in that. Or that Ella Bella shape with like the circle and the rectangle and the smaller circle.
Friends Earrings started off as a passion project for Kate and Claire. They had been making earrings together far before they ever thought of turning it into a company.
Because we made them all the time spring quarter, and I would just have quart Ziploc bags full. I mean, I'd bring them down to the common room of our dorm and just force them upon the people who lived in my dorm because we had too many.
By the end of winter quarter, they had made so many earrings that they started giving them away. And by spring quarter, they started selling them.
If we didn't sell them, we would have a truly obscene amount of earrings, so it's probably better.
I still want to make them.
Yeah.
But summer brought a lot of changes. Claire started selling the earrings at her local farmers market in St. Louis. They also started an Etsy, which brought them hundreds of new sales.
We've sold 212 pairs off of our Etsy in the past, 6 weeks.
But by far the biggest change was that Kate and Claire began donating all the money they earned to a different nonprofit organization every month.
What was at least unique about our situation is that we had the privilege to have this idea that people would pay money for. And we had the privilege to say, let's give the money away.
In July, they donated almost $5,000 to RACES, the Refuge and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services.
Now I'd say we're kind of averaging at $2,000, $2,500 a month for these organizations.
Yeah.
Which we're very proud of.
Yeah.
Crafting a brighter future for others, one earring at a time. Syra Singh, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Syra. This month, Kate and Claire plan to donate all of their proceeds to Assata's Daughters, a Chicago-based organization protesting against police violence.
I love that mission. That's all we have for tonight. We will be back with PolitiCat debate analysis later this week. I'm Joey Safchik.
And I'm Justin Sweetwood. Thanks for watching, and good night.